I'm Tiffany Spring, and I'm the owner of WildWillow Lotion & Potions, LLC, a self-care and metaphysical boutique based out of Oldsmar Flea Market in Oldsmar, Florida, aisle G East 18. Just look for the big purple booth. I'm excited to bring you today's video. In today's video, we are going to go over everything that's included in our Samhain natural incense making kits. And I will be doing a step-by-step tutorial on how to make your own Samhain natural incense cones. Now, let's get into the kit. This is our Samhain-inspired natural incense kit. Each kit includes everything you need to make 2 batches. Now, we have sandalwood powder, which acts as our base. And then we have mako powder that acts as our binder. Our aromatics for this blend include pumpkin powder, nutmeg, and cinnamon powder. Each kit includes 2 specific measuring spoons, 1 teaspoon and 1/8 of a teaspoon, as well as a mixing stick and a 20 milliliter liquid syringe. Each kit also includes a step-by-step direction sheet with a link to scan that will bring you to this video. Now, let's get into the tutorial. We will start off our tutorial by using 2 full leveled teaspoons of sandalwood powder. It's important to level all of your measurements to make sure they are exact each and every time. So that's 1 and 2. Next, we will be including our binding ingredient, which is our mako powder, also known as tabo no ki. A binder works as a glue to bind all of the ingredients together, making them a uniform combustible dough. Next, we will be including our aromatics. In this blend, we chose a combination of pumpkin powder, nutmeg, and cinnamon. I think it smells a little bit like a pumpkin pie. We will be using 4 of these 1/8 teaspoons, so that equals 1/2 of a teaspoon. We chose pumpkin for its abundance and prosperity. Then we will add 1/8 of a teaspoon nutmeg. We chose nutmeg for its protection against evil spirits and energies. It was also known to be carried around as a status symbol. Next, we will be adding 1/8 of a teaspoon, leveled of course, of cinnamon powder. At this point, you want to mix all of the dry ingredients until they are one uniform color. You don't want to see any streaks of different colors. It all ends up combining all together very well the more you mix it up. All right, that looks about ready to go. This recipe calls for about 15 milliliters of liquid. We used water, just plain water in our recipe. Now, if you want to choose to use something else, you can. You can use anything that is mainly water, such as wine, coffee, maybe some juices. They might get sticky, so maybe not. All right. I just filled my water syringe up to the 15, and I will add water a little at a time. You don't want to add too much. You don't want your dough your incense dough to be oversaturated, because then it will get sticky, hard to manage, and it will droop as it starts to dry. So take your stick and mix it all in. At first it will look like it doesn't want to mix, but the more you mix it, that surface tension will decrease, will break, and you will start to see it start to clump up together. Now soon here is where it will get tricky. It will be hard to tell whether your incense dough is actually too dry or just not mixed enough. In this case, that's when you have to start mixing with your hands. From experience, I can tell you my dough is a little too dry. So I'm going to put a little bit more water in here. Mix it some more. See, it all just kind of, you can't tell. You have to mix it with your hands. Squish it and knead it as though you are kneading some bread dough. Swish and knead, squish and knead. And you will see your dough start to form a uniform shape. The more you squish it, the more you knead it, the more it comes together. Mine's still a little dry and crumbly, so I add some more water. And see, I still haven't added all the water. I'm still at about 5 milliliters. How much liquid you need to use in your recipe will vary every time based on your humidity levels, based on your recipe, what ingredients you use, and the amount of ingredients you use, as well as the type of liquid you use. It all varies. Now this recipe I've gotten pretty good at, and I can tell a dough is ready when it can pick up all the residue out of the bowl. And it's not sticking to my gloves as I need it, but it's also not soaking wet or crumbling apart. It's got the consistency of Play-Doh. Now once you have your dough to this point, it's ready to start forming your own incense. This is the fun part. So I take the 1/8 of a teaspoon, and I take about that much, about a half a teaspoon, and I roll it into a ball in the palm of my hand. Once it is into a ball, I push it on one side firmly with the tips of my fingers and roll it back and forth on one end until it becomes that cone shape. Now you want to roll it firmly and make sure there's no creases or seams. And then you can stand it up to dry. Now, there is no right or wrong shape to make a cone. Long and skinny cones are more preferable as they burn longer and slower and release a smaller stream of smoke, whereas fatter, thicker, shorter cones will burn for a shorter amount of time and release a longer, thicker amount of smoke. Again, I just take about a teaspoon, half a teaspoon. Roll it into a ball. Now again, each instant kit that I sell includes enough materials and supplies to make 2 batches of this incense. And as you can see, each batch makes around 4 to 6 cones, depending on, you know, how thick and how much batter you use for each cone. You can make 10 if you make really small cones. You can make 4 if you make really thick cones. It's all a matter of preference, really, and exploration and just having fun with it. See, that one has a seam in it, so I want to roll it back up into a ball until it has no seams. Push it down on one side. Just my fingertip. Still can't seem to get that seam out of that one. Might be getting a little bit dry. Let me put a couple drops. Not a lot of water, just a couple drops. When it starts to get crumbly on you, that's when you can tell that your incense dough is too dry. Now, if it starts to stick to your gloves or it starts to droop when you're trying to set it to dry, your incense dough is too wet. Oh, there we go. Perfect. And there you have it. I have 6 incense cones ready to dry. You set them in a cold, dry place for at least 48 hours before you burn them. And you're all set. So there you have it, your own Samhain-inspired incense cones. Thank you for watching our video. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to me. My email address is tiffany@wildwillowlotionpotions.com, or you can find us at www.wildwillowlotionpotions.com, or on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. Thank you for watching.